Well, it's definitely a big cat herding exercise. In fact, that was the metaphor that was used when we launched NSIC at the Chamber of Commerce back in April last year. It was Leslie Harris, who's the CEO of Center for Democracy and Technology. When I asked on stage all the panelists who were speaking in support of NSIC for advice, she said, get a giant spray bottle and the largest bale of catnip you can find, because what you're doing with NSTIC is going to be an unprecedented cat herding exercise, and that's certainly been proven true to date.
Right.
But I will say, that's really what NSTIC is about. It's a government-issued strategy, but everything that we are focused on is how to engage with stakeholders at all levels, including other federal agencies, state and local governments, international governments, and gobs of different types of stakeholders in the private sector to try and catalyze an identity ecosystem that can solve some of these problems that we have. And let me just be clear that the problems are real. We're all using passwords today, and every year the cybersecurity problems that are tied to passwords get worse. The U.S. Secret Service does a great study with Verizon and several international law enforcement agencies every year looking at data breaches and really driving down into how many data breaches did we have, what was the cause of them, what was the attack vector. Last year, 2011, 5 of the top 6 vectors of attack in data breaches were all tied to passwords and how weak they are one way or another, whether it was a brute force attack or just guessing that somebody had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is still the case more often than not, dropping malware in somebody's computer, using a spear phishing attack. In total, 82% of the records that were stolen last year in this country were tied to the fact that we have this cruddy, outdated authentication system called the password that we're still using to guard most of our systems. And by the way, the number of Americans impacted by data breaches was up 67% last year. However, while it's a big national problem, it's nothing that the government can actually solve on its own. In fact, if we tried to specify a solution or do something like issue a national identity card or some other sort of token, we'd absolutely fail. There's simply too much innovation going on in the private sector, too many entrepreneurs coming in with great ideas every day on how to better secure and authenticate online transactions and manage identity. We'd be playing catch up. And so everything that we're really focused on with NSTIC, while you can call it a cat herding exercise, it's really about building coalitions between different stakeholder groups who haven't necessarily worked with each other in the past to find a way to start trusting credentials that are issued by different organizations and start to get people toward some sort of multi-factor solution that can, if not solve every problem you have with passwords today, certainly raise the bar materially from where we are.
Yeah,